For today, in the name of freedom, we take the battle to them.
Hello and welcome to another Marvel review. Last month we saw the release of Captain America: Brave New World. I know it has been nearly a month since this movie released, but I decided to do this because, well, it was a movie that I kind of wanted to just sit with for a while, to be honest. Normally, if I watch a movie, I will do the review maybe the same day, if not the day after I watch it. But for Brave New World, I kind of just wanted to sit and let it breathe, just so I can get my full opinion on things, but also because I end up missing a lot of things when I do the videos like immediately after I watch the film, and there'll be certain things that I'll complain about, but in reality it makes complete sense, so kind of just wanted to wait, make sure I got everything, understand everything, and now I can give a fair review of Captain America: Brave New World. Just giving you my overall thoughts, I was pleasantly surprised with this movie. I really enjoyed it. It was so nice having a grounded Marvel movie again. Of course, you have the whole thing with the Celestial and all that, but really, who cares? It was an interesting road to this movie, because before that first teaser trailer, I could not give a shit about this movie. I didn't actually care about any of the Marvel movies this year, except maybe Fantastic Four. But the first trailer for Brave New World did come out, and that really changed my mind on it. And no, it was not just because of that Red Hulk cameo. Especially with, all the Hulk villains getting thrown in here, I was mixed on it, because I was like, these are really, really cool, but I don't know why it's in a Captain America movie. You have so many concepts here, which really, if you did not watch The Incredible Hulk, you'll probably be able to understand, because the movie does a decent job at kind of catching you up on all the homework you had to do. But it, of course it adds extra context to things, like the leader. I haven't seen The Incredible Hulk in about 5 years, and I do not remember the leader at all in that movie. I just know of that shot where his head starts mutating. That is it. And I don't know. I really should have watched The Incredible Hulk before watching this movie. But, whatever. Shit happens, let's just talk about the two villains of the movie first, right? Starting off with the leader, since I have less to say about him. He was really cool in the few scenes that you get of him. I wasn't expecting much from him because, well, I honestly didn't know anything about this character other than that he was green and he has a big ass forehead. But, I didn't know anything about it. But I knew what he was supposed to look like. So then when the movie revealed him, I was like, why does he just look like Doctor Doom from the 2015 Fantastic Four movie? What the hell? I'll be honest, I am all up for like different interpretations of a design, different versions and things like that. And I kind of respect it, but I would love it more if the concept art didn't show him looking how he's meant to look. In the concept art, he looks basically exactly like how the leader should look from the comics, but then you get to the final design of the movie, and he's basically just a green version of himself, except his brain is kind of coming out of his head. Like his brain is increased in size, which, by the way, they did not utilize that anywhere near as much as they should have. The idea of the leader is so terrifying. This guy who is so insanely smart. And, you have so many MCU characters nowadays who are like just magically geniuses. And it makes Iron Man, obviously it diminishes Iron Man because Iron Man was the smart guy of the MCU. But it's cool. There's a fucking cockroach in front of me. Whew, now that that's out of the way. What was I saying? The leader. Oh, yes. So it was terrifying to have someone who is, I'd say, as smart as Iron Man, but in a different way, because the leader works with probabilities and predicting everything that could happen. And that is such a cool concept. And they just didn't do anything with it. So yes, while I do think the leader was severely underutilized, I still really enjoyed his presence. I think the actor gave a fantastic performance. I loved his voice. It was like it was a calm voice, but it was intimidating. You know, it wasn't like just generic bad guy where it's like Captain America. You know, he talks so calmly. He's like, Captain America, you don't see who's playing who. It was just really, really awesome. And ultimately, his comeuppance I thought was extremely boring. He broke out. Well, not broke out, but like he left the facility. He went up to Sam and was like, he's gonna turn into Red Hulk. And then he just handed himself in. Like, what the fuck? At least we know he's not dead. But when will he even have the chance to return? Let's be honest. This dude is not coming back. He's not. Unless they are somehow gonna bring him in and help him, he's gonna help them fight Doctor Doom in Doomsday. I doubt we'll ever see the leader again. So yeah, the leader I think goes down as an average MCU villain. Not amazing, not horrible, but let's talk about the one that everyone was highly anticipating, that being Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk. And boy, I'm so glad I went in with the expectations that I did, because I was so excited to see the Red Hulk, and especially with how different he is to our Hulk, with the certain things like the angrier he gets, the more like he lights stuff on fire, the hotter he gets. Some small little details like that I think are such they're key to making it feel just not like we're repeating the Hulk. This is a different Hulk, and that's what I love about it. And they marketed the shit out of this guy, and this is something that I will give the movie shit for, because I, mainly since like 2022 with things like Halloween Ends, ever since really that movie, I have become extremely cautious of a film that markets itself around one specific thing. Halloween Ends was marketed as the kind of big conclusion to the Halloween franchise, mainly that timeline. A timeline which goes back to the original movie in 1978. And that entire film was marketed on the rivalry and the fight between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode, our final girl. And the entire movie had Michael Myers in it for less than 2 minutes, and then at the end he shows up, he gets his ass whooped, and then that is it. So yeah, it was absolutely horrible. And then the Meg 2 did the same thing. The sharks only showed up at the end, really. And Captain America Brave New World, unfortunately, it did the exact same thing, except with Red Hulk. I don't know why movies do this, honestly, because if you know that your movie, if you think your movie is good, you will market the movie exactly as what it is. If you know that the movie is bad, and there's one specific thing people are looking forward to, you still market the movie as what the film is. You don't centralize that one thing and put it as the focus of every single trailer and TV spot the movie has. So, of course, I watched these trailers so many times that, of course, it doesn't take a genius. I mean, someone could watch it once and realize that every single part of the Red Hulk that showed up was of the same sequence. When Ross turns into the Red Hulk, which, by the way, that scene would have been absolutely perfect if they didn't ruin it with that shitty one-liner. That has got to be one of the worst fucking one-liners of Marvel. Of, the president turning into a monster. Your president turned into a fucking Hulk, and your response is, since when are they red? Like, what the fuck, man? Sorry, that bloody hell. That just really pissed me off watching it, because that moment would have been so perfect if not for that stupid piece of dialogue. I also can't be the only one that got absolutely good chills when the Red Hulk was doing all the classic Hulk things. Him jumping, him doing that awesome jump from the White House to the freaking Washington Tower. Like that, obviously, you'd think of Spider-Man Homecoming, but wait, was it Homecoming? Yes. No, you just think of that. And, of course, that's the Hulk jump, right? But even things like the thunderclap, holy shit, man, it was so cool. Again, I'm not even someone who liked the Incredible Hulk, but seeing that shit means something to me, man. It was just so cool seeing a proper Hulk in the MCU, especially after that freaking disgrace of a show, She-Hulk. It's not as terrible as people made it out to be. I only say that because it was like my one source of entertainment during that time. But my God, it was so bad, especially that thunderclap. Piss off. The Hulks are back, baby. But anyway, yeah, everything they marketed to the Red Hulk was basically that scene, and then of course the Cherry Blossom Forest fight, which, I mean, we could gather was the same scene, but still. So thank God I went in only expecting Red Hulk at the end, because my goodness, I would have been so annoyed if I went into this expecting Red Hulk in it from beginning to the end, or even hell from halfway in the movie, because the Red Hulk is what the entire film is building up to. And really, that just makes it even worse because the entire film is leading up to Thunderbolt Ross's transformation into the Red Hulk, which was the leader's entire plan, was just to ruin Ross's reputation. But the entire film was marketed around it, so everyone knew he was going to turn into the Hulk. So if they had kept the Red Hulk a secret, this movie would be, I'll be honest, I think that it would probably be Winter Soldier level. If they just, obviously if they touched up a few more things in the film and it had a coherent story and the reshoots weren't so obvious, I think it would be on par with Winter Soldier or Civil War. I'll be, okay, maybe that's a lie, maybe just below those, but still, I really, really thought that they just could have fixed that issue if they didn't falsely advertise this movie. But overall, I thought Harrison Ford was a fantastic President Ross. I thought that Harrison Ford just has that aura about him. Oh God, that word has really been ruined by the new generation, hasn't it? But he just has that presence. Whenever he shows up, he brings so much charm and likability. I don't even know if that's a word, to the character that he's playing. And while of course, yes, it is tragic how that he obviously became Thunderbolt Ross because William Hurt passed away. While it would have been interesting to see what William Hurt would have done with the role, I just think people were more engaged with Harrison Ford's interpretation of it, and especially with this part of Ross's storyline of turning into the Red Hulk. I mean, that's what he's most famous for. I just feel like people are really overdoing it with the criticisms of this movie. You can say the movie doesn't flow very well. I can kind of understand it. It's not jarring and like takes you out of the movie. But there are moments, mainly with the leader, you can tell they are reshoots because they don't look as good. And unfortunately, one scene it looks god awful. I really hope that they change this when it comes to like the digital releases and things. Is when Cap is talking Red Hulk down. And that is a pivotal moment of the movie. And I know that the Cherry Blossom Forest wasn't entirely CGI. There was a set. But that shot of Sam talking to Red Hulk looks so bad. It is one of the worst VFX shots of the entire MCU. That is the definition of a scene that takes you out of the film. It is absolutely atrocious because it really does just look like he is standing in front of a green screen. And I don't say that a lot for any movies, actually. I will say I really liked Sam as Captain America in this movie. Again, before the trailer came out, I wasn't against him being Captain America because I actually think that he was the best choice. If it wasn't Steve, it's gonna be him because Bucky just has too much. He's killed too many people in the eyes of the public for him to be Captain America. But Sam, I really, really enjoy that decision. I think it was great. and even seeing it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he was good in that show until the end, because the entire show just amounts to him telling the senator, do better. I'm Captain America now. And as far as this movie goes, he doesn't really have that much of an arc. He's kind of in the same place that he was in the Winter Soldier. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And, just hinting on that, Bucky's cameo I thought was brilliant. It was a complete surprise. I had no clue he was going to be in the movie. And I will say, talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, it is not essential viewing. But I will say that it definitely makes the Isaiah Bradley side of the story a million times better. Because sure, in the movie, they kind of just play it off for a joke, which they Marvel with that fucking humor again. They did it in Quantumania as well, where they played off Avengers Endgame as a joke. And I'm like, guys, no, too many people died. You cannot be joking about that. And then with this movie, they kind of did the same thing with Isaiah Bradley, where he's like, I was in jail for 30 years or something like that. And I'm like, that's not something you just chuck in. That was a huge part of his character. I would honestly go so far as to say that Isaiah Bradley is possibly the most tragic character of the MCU. Actually, you know what? I think he is. There is no one in the MCU, not even like Thor, that I would say has had a worse life than Isaiah Bradley, which really added to the stakes of the movie, because throughout the film, they're talking about all this, oh, we can't let Adamantium get in the wrong hands. Oh, we can't, we have to worry about President Ross turning into the Red Hulk, things like that. I just wanted Isaiah to get out of prison, man. That's all I cared about. Because honestly, that scene where he's being arrested, on the verge of tears. Because he says earlier in the movie, that's the suit that he wore on his wedding day and stuff like that. And even when he's getting arrested, he has no clue what he's done. But when the officers are like manhandling him, putting him on the floor, he's like, watch the suit, please. I'm like, guy, please just get this man out of prison. Don't let him go back there, please. Because that monologue he had in Falcon and Winter Soldier was phenomenal. It was such a great monologue. And I would never justify having you needing to watch a Disney Plus show for one of these movies, because I only watch half the Disney Plus shows out of obligation. There's none that I've been, I'm interested in watching this, apart from maybe Loki. But I will say that if you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you will definitely sympathize with Isaiah Bradley a lot more. And, of course, going off that point, the homework for this movie is, honestly, it would be atrocious if the movie did a bad job at kind of bringing things together. Because this movie, and you've seen a lot of people say it, even the ones who didn't like it, it was nice to have this connectivity of the MCU coming back. Because you have, obviously it is still homework, but come on, it was really cool. Look at all these things you have to see. This is a slight negative though. Here's all the things you need to see. You gotta watch Eternals. You need to watch The Incredible Hulk. You've got to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is honestly the one thing where I'm like, okay, come on, like that because it's a show. I'm like, okay, you can watch 3 movies worth of content in the time it takes you to watch one show. And I'll tell you, 3 Marvel movies back to back to back is most of the time way more satisfying than watching 6 episodes of the show. I think the only time I've actually felt genuinely satisfied watching a Marvel show from episode 1 to 8 or whatever it is maybe WandaVision, but definitely Loki season 2. Apart from that, all the finales sucked. So yes, while the homework you need to do for this movie it's a fair amount, it is not unaskable. I don't even think that's a word, but if it's just the movies, I can understand that, because that's what MCU stands for. Marvel Cinematic Universe. The movies are what I care about in this universe. The shows, honestly, apart from Loki and Daredevil, can just kind of get out of here, because none of them really matter. So yeah, the movies, if it's movies you gotta watch in order to catch up for a future project, I'm fine with that. You know, I mean, that's what Thunderbolts is, right? Thunderbolts is the next movie. Black Widow, you know, you gotta watch Black Widow, you gotta watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, and something else. Which, I mean, I didn't watch. I was gonna watch Eternals before watching this movie, just so I can, you know, kind of get the understanding of the Celestial, but I don't really think I need to. I'll watch it eventually. But that being said, another aspect of this movie that a lot of people were anticipating, and thankfully I had my expectations set basically on the floor. I didn't expect anything more than a mention, is adamantium. And holy shit. While the property itself doesn't really do anything in the movie, the introduction of it is one of my favorite scenes of the MCU. Hearing Harrison Ford say adamantium just gave me goosebumps. It was fantastic. I was so happy hearing adamantium come out of Harrison Ford's mouth. You know, it's just, oh my god, it's so cool now. And again, much like I was saying with the leader, the adamantium is such an interesting concept. You have to build off of that. You cannot just half-ass it. You know, obviously, while it was kind of the driving point of the movie, it should have played a much bigger part. Well, as of recording the segment, I have my Discord account back, boys. Obviously, I'm not getting my $200 back, but you know, it's all right. But yeah, of course, it is the kind of little presentation scene where you know, it's slowly building up to that, where you have like the holograms and everything, and Ross is like, it's a material more versatile and indestructible than vibranium, and then you just see the raw fragment of adamantium, and you're like, holy shit. We have our first nugget of Wolverine in the MCU. And before any of you say, oh, what about Deadpool and Wolverine? Wolverine never entered the MCU, which is the funny part, because while metaphorically Deadpool and Wolverine were in the MCU, they never actually entered the 616 universe. Well, Wolverine didn't. Wade kind of did in the beginning when he met Happy for some reason. Don't know how that works, but it's fine. But yeah, everything just comes together so nicely with that ending of when you have like the news report and the guy says, we have entered a brave new world of adamantium. Oh man, that is cool. It was really cool. And I'm happy that they didn't kill off Red Hulk as well. I know, as my one friend especially, really wants Red Hulk to be in the Thunderbolts, but guys, do you really think that they could have released how many trailers for Thunderbolts? Like 3? And, you know, the amount of TV spots? Do you really think they could have gone this far and not shown off Red Hulk if he was in the movie? He's not in Thunderbolts, even though his nickname is literally Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. But yeah, overall, the movie I thought it was good. And, you know, I may be overstating it, but I mean, I still feel this way, which is why I've waited basically a month to do this video. I think that this is the definition of a newer Marvel movie, that if it had released in phases 1 or 2, people would not have batted an eye towards it. They would probably treat this movie maybe the same way they treat like Iron Man 2. You know, fine, alright, but definitely better than how they're treating it now. Actually, no, I think Iron Man 2 is a bit... Okay, maybe something better. Maybe not, like, in between Iron Man 2 and Guardians of the Galaxy. How about that? A nice middle ground. That's how people would treat this movie. But because now Marvel is on such a, you know, unstable platform, people are very critical about things they don't like, and they will praise something which is, well, great. And they will be very vocal about it. I just hope that the fan backlash, obviously this movie is still making money, but I'm hoping that the fan backlash to this film doesn't mean they are going to, like, just forget about certain things. You know, like, don't forget that Ross is on the raft. That is very crucial information. There's only like 3 people on the raft that we know of. Zemo, which I'm honestly surprised we didn't see Zemo, the leader, and of course, Ross. That was also like a cool reversal of the end of Civil War when Sam is in the cage, he's in the cell, and Ross is outside, and of course this movie it's swapped. That was really cool. Except when we get to the end, there was something about the Incredible Hulk that I absolutely hated. And honestly, it's the main reason why I don't want to rewatch that movie, is the character of Betty Ross. Now, where do we start? Now, I am a massive fan of The Strangers. The Strangers, if you don't know what that is a home invasion horror film from 2008, the same year as The Incredible Hulk, with Liv Tyler as the main girl. And she is fantastic in that movie. I think that she does a great job at portraying what a person who is just being mentally tortured would be like. She's so good in that movie. Her acting is fantastic. But I just remember being so unbelievably pissed off with the Incredible Hulk. Because I just remember every single bit of dialogue this girl has is slowly walking towards something and just having that scared look on her face and going, Bruce? That is her entire fucking dialogue throughout the entire goddamn movie. So I just remember that. And next time I'm watching The Incredible Hulk, I will have a piece of paper next to me and keep count of how many times she says, Bruce? I need to. Please. It was insufferable when I watched The Incredible Hulk. One last note before we get to the post-credit scene is I do think that they wasted Giancarlo Esposito. I find the character he was playing kind of interesting. I loved the hand-to-hand combat fight that he had with Cap. I really, really love that scene. I thought that was fantastic. I will also be honest. I will own it that when he fired at Sam in the car, I got jump scared so badly. I was like, oh my! I literally audibly gasped. It was that bad. I was so surprised that I got jump scared by Gus Fring. But yeah, that fight I thought was brilliant. I mean, I'm happy that they kept him around because I believe Giancarlo Esposito confirmed a while ago that he will be in future Marvel projects. So we knew that Sidewinder, like he wasn't only going to be in this film, which is good. But let's get on to the post-credit scene, which is one thing that I will agree with many people on, that this sucked. Because you have the leader who basically is just telling Sam, something about you heroes, and he's like, "What will you do when they come?" And it's so vague. It is so vague and generic. It can be literally anything. It's like when I first saw the scene, the first thought that came to my head was he was talking about more people like him, like more of the leaders, like people who have had a failed version of the super soldier serum. But no. Apparently this is meant to lead into Doomsday, and I believe the original intention was to hint at the Illuminati, which how the fuck are we meant to piece that together? It is so unbelievably dumb because apparently it's meant, it was meant to be the Illuminati. We're assuming it's meant to be Doomsday, but it doesn't make sense. How has the leader discovered the multiverse? I understand that he's smart as fuck, but he's just been kind of chilling in that lab, If there was at least some sort of indication that he was doing things other than the medicine and stuff that Ross needed, then maybe I could believe it. But it was just such a bad post-credit scene. And this, to me, is the perfect example of you either have a post-credit scene in mind which makes sense and will get people hyped, or you just don't put a post-credit scene. Not every movie needs a post-credit scene. And I just sound just like Mindy from Scream 6. But yeah, not every film needs a post-credit scene. Endgame didn't have one. It had the sound, it didn't have a scene. But yeah, this I thought was a complete disappointment, because when I was sitting with my friends in the cinema, we were 1,000,000% sure it was going to be Bucky, because Bucky was in this movie, and he's like one of the main characters in the Thunderbolts. Why would you not have Bucky be in the post-credit scene? It's so stupid. Plus, at least then it would have been something that Marvel has kind of forgotten about, and that is the post-credit scene, which is followed up with the next film. Because look how many post-credit scenes we have from Phase 4 onwards, which still have not been resolved. But yeah, I think that that is enough. My overall take on this movie after watching it once, and that was a month ago, I quite liked it. I really, really liked it. I thought that the grounded feel of it was fantastic. I just think that if they hadn't done as many reshoots and the writing wasn't as choppy sometimes, I think that this movie could have been a solid like 10 out of 10. Although, yes, it is very much the Incredible Hulk 2. I don't know why they did this for a Captain America movie, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it, man. So yeah, now that it has been out for almost a month, please let me know your thoughts on Captain America Brave New World. Did you like it? Did you hate it? And is there anything from this movie that you think could lead into Avengers Doomsday? Because obviously with a grounded film like this, I really don't know what they're going to do. I really don't know, but hey, Sam's gonna have to figure it out eventually. And I'd also just like to take this time to remind you, we only have 2 more films until Avengers Doomsday. I'd just like you to know that. The thing is, what's going to be annoying is that Spider-Man 4 will be filming, I believe, later this year. They'll be filming, and if the rumors are true that Avengers Doomsday will be pushed, they are going to destroy Spider-Man 4. Because Spider-Man 4 was meant to release after Doomsday, which means it would be on Battleworld. But if they push Doomsday to after Spider-Man 4, they're going to have to push Spider-Man 4 as well. Because obviously that will just spoil Doomsday. So, yeah. Anyway, that is enough rambling from me. Please let me know your thoughts on the movie. Let me know what you think the post-credit scene was meant to be. What the leader was talking about, and all that. Anything and everything, please let me know down in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this video, then please leave a like, subscribe, and goodbye.